Hey everyone, I'm really excited to share the last go live of 2017 with you. I'm Diana Page, and just for those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, I've been working with Forever now 16 years. And when I look back, I have to say that myself, I'm unrecognizable in terms of the personal development that I've had, and the life my family and I are living is also unrecognizable, because I do believe we are we are just ordinary people living extraordinary lives. That is all down to Forever Living products and the environment that it has given us to really achieve our true potential. And 16 years on, hand on heart, I just dread to think where mine and my family's life would be today. You see, my background is very traditional business. I didn't have a planned career when I left school, and I really had no idea where my life was going to take me. I didn't dare have big dreams because I didn't think it was possible for somebody like me, coming from a very humble background, very traditional working class family. What I didn't know then growing up is the things that I learned from my parents, which were integrity, a really strong work ethic, and compassion for other people, is what ultimately led me to find the appeal, the real attraction in Forever, and has gone on to help us live an extraordinary life. But when I started my business, I was a mom at home. I had a 6-month-old, and today my two amazing boys are nearly 14 and nearly 17. It's incredible, just incredible. And from the very beginning, what attracted me to the Forever opportunity was the idea of earning that kind of life, that life which I thought was reserved for other people. Smart people, clever people, more polished people. I didn't think that that kind of life was possible for somebody like me. And then when I was shown the business opportunity and they said, you can be one of those people, I knew I just had to have a go. And I got started in my business. I had a great learning attitude. But as great as my learning attitude was, I really had to have an open mind and embrace change and embrace new ideas and develop some new skills. When I think about a process that I have developed and go through every single year at this time of year to make sure that each year we're moving forward, is something I'm very passionate about, and something I feel so strongly about. That I want to encourage everybody to not just watch this video once, but watch it twice. Because everybody has heard the phrase, oh, make next year your best year yet. It's said so often that I think it's lost its meaning. So I'm going to take you through some of my thoughts and my reflections of the process I've used and coach my team, the people that I'm working with to use, and my expectation or my vision for you is that you will make 2018 your best year. I know that when I say that 2018 your best year, it fills some of you with dread, because you'll say, oh, I've been there, I've heard it, and here I am finishing another year nowhere near achieving the goals I set for myself. And for some of you, when you hear the words 2018 your best year yet, it fills you with incredible excitement. Well, my vision is by the end of this little video that everybody is going to go away filled with excitement, a renewed sense of energy and possibilities that will take you wherever it is you want to go. I know that we've had a very busy time with Christmas just gone, and I hope that you've all had a fantastic Christmas celebration with your friends and family. But for me, it's always been a time of reflection. And when I think about a time of reflection, I don't feel I can plan my next year effectively or set my goals for the next year effectively until I've taken some time to look back at the last 12 months and proactively and consciously decide, what am I going to take with me into the new year? And equally, what am I going to leave behind in the old year that I no longer need, is no longer serving me? So I've got a few bullet points, and I've got my notes here because I don't want to miss out on anything important. And so probably the best place to start when I look at reflecting on the last 12 months is looking at the power of 2017 wins and losses. And I tried to think of a more positive way to call losses, but you know what? I thought it is what it is, and I'm going to call it what it is because I'm a straight talker. So 2017 wins and losses. It's easy and more natural for us to pay attention to the wins that we have, the successes, whether it's our 4CC achievement, networking professional pin achievement, marketing plan promotion, or one of the incentives. And we do take time to celebrate and recognize the people in our teams who've helped us achieve that. And we recognize people in our teams for all their successes and all their wins. It could be something even more simple than that. It could be your successes can be you've learned how to do a really effective business launch. You've learned how to do a really effective one-to-one, or you can do an A4 business presentation, or you're very happy doing contact marketing. All those little details, all those little actions are really important to recognize as wins, as successes. And those are the things you want to make sure you are taking with you into next year. And I do really emphasize the importance of recognizing your successes and taking time to celebrate them. Because our wins, whether they're really, really small, like learning how to do a product launch or an experience pack drop-off or follow-up, those are really important because it's evidence of our progress. It's evidence of we're getting a return for our time invested in learning. It shows that we're building momentum in our businesses. It shows that we are moving forward in our personal development. And they can be stepping stones, sometimes smaller ones, sometimes really teeny tiny baby stepping stones, moving us forward towards our bigger goals. So successes is a really big part. And I want you to take some time to reflect on the last 12 months and write a list of all the things you've learned and mastered, the things that you've had to step out of your comfort zone to learn and secure and master, because all those things you're going to take with you into 2018. But when we look at the other side, the losses, and as I said, I'm going to call them what they are, the losses, all right? In my experience, when we talk about mistakes or learning experiences or losses, I know for me, my natural instinct is I want to hide them. I want to hide them under a blanket. I don't want anybody to know the mistakes I've made because I can feel embarrassed. And sometimes I think, well, someone at my stage, maybe I should have learned that lesson a long time ago. And I don't know if any of you feel that way, that you want to hide your mistakes or hide your learning experiences. And sometimes the losses come in a different form, maybe not in the form of a mistake, but sometimes a loss can come in the form of we've set a goal, we have planned it out, we have done the activity, we've taken it to the end of the line, and we still didn't achieve it. And that's happened to me, and that can be disappointing. And in that case, I feel that's really when you need to step back and reflect on actually what are the cracks in your behavior, in your attitude, in your activity, in your approach, and more importantly, what was the underlying reason that you wanted that goal? What was your emotional driver? Because if that emotional driver isn't really a deep burning desire, it starts to become, well, a goal of just going through the motions because you should or supposed to work towards that next. So when I think about losses or mistakes or learnings, I'm afraid that they are a necessity to success. They really are. If I look at my last 16 years with Forever, when I look at the periods where I felt I was struggling the most or wasn't progressing as fast as I wanted to, and I felt frustrated or I just couldn't see the wood for the trees, it's in those periods of the toughest times that I grew the most in my personal development, in my confidence, in my skills, and ultimately in my business and in my income and in my team and in their businesses and in their income. Rex Mon openly says it is in our toughest times that we grow the most. And for me, there's 3 reasons why that I feel that happens. So I want you to look at 2017 and identify what your losses were and what are you going to learn from them that you're going to take with you into 2018. Because you see, mistakes move us to learn. It's easy to become complacent and do the same thing over and over again without continually trying to be your best to become a master at our trade. So when things don't quite go to plan, mistakes move us to learn, which means we are being more creative. It builds our resilience. We get tougher and stronger, and our vision of what's possible grows. It builds our character. And ultimately, you know, these mistakes, I don't know what they're not necessarily mistakes. I call them losses, okay? You didn't get what you wanted to get. It's as simple as that. You all know what I'm talking about. You'll all call it something different. But growing pains is what grows us to the next level. When I look at some of my difficult moments or months, I think this is my growing pain. I'm growing to the next level up. So don't hide from them. Don't try to hide them under the blanket. They're necessary to learn. The second reason why I believe losses are important and a necessity of growth is that losses help us develop compassion for ourselves, but also compassion for other people. And when you strip back the whole forever opportunity and really get down to the core of what we do in this business we grow people. Yes, the products are amazing and you'll not find this quality of product anywhere else in the world. And yes, the marketing plan is the best in the entire industry. But the glue that keeps it all together is our ethos and our culture, and that comes from our founder, Rex Maughan, and it's driven through all the top leaders across Forever. What we do is we grow people. Our success is built on relationships, and relationships are built on compassion. So when we are struggling, it's an opportunity to develop compassion for yourself and compassion for people in your team. And the third reason why I believe losses are a necessity to growth is that it makes us think. It makes us put this to work. It makes us think through, how are we going to do it differently next time? What am I going to tweak, change, adjust, modify? Is it the time I need to work on? Is it the way I'm doing things? But it makes us think through the detail, because behavior, which is monitored, always gets improved. So the three reasons why I believe it's important to look at and reflect at your losses are: mistakes move us to learn, it develops our self-compassion, it makes us think through the details so we avoid the same pitfalls going forward, which means you're going to speed up your success next year. You know, a new year means we can press the reset button. And you've all heard that a gazillion times, but this is what it means for me. Wherever you are in your forever business, and there'll be people listening to this who have just got started, you may have just received your starter pack worth of products, and some of this is going over your head, and that's okay. But for me, most people will overestimate what's possible in a day and underestimate what's possible in a year. And a new year brings us a fresh opportunity to draw a line in the sand and consciously decide what we're going to leave behind, what negative thoughts no longer serve us, what negative relationships no longer serve us, what bad habits no longer serve us, so we can put ourselves on the right track towards achieving the things that matter most to us. And so think about the skills that you need perhaps to work on. And it could be time management, it could be your presentation skills, it could be your product knowledge, it could be your customer care, it could be your coaching and mentorship of your team, it could be your social media skills. There's a whole host of some core disciplines and skills that as network marketing professionals we need to develop. And so if you start to prioritize what those skills are, you will have a plan of action for your personal development. And as your personal development accelerates, so will your business. When I think about what's going to drive all that, that whole process so far is what I call keeping your mojo fueled. I'm going to tell you a little story I heard about, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years ago, way back in the beginning. And this is a special story for people who are like me. People who maybe at some stage felt you weren't good enough, didn't have the right skill set, don't know the right people, didn't come from the right background, don't have the right education, but you have a dream. And maybe you're a little afraid to be honest with yourself and admit what that big dream is, because maybe you think it's beyond your station or beyond what you think is possible for you. But I heard a story which changed my way of thinking forever, and it helped me to build belief in myself and the people around me about what was possible with this most incredible opportunity that we have our hands on with forever. So here's my little story. So we have a mom. A mom is at home and she has a 7-year-old boy who's at school. And a mom gets a call from the school and says, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, little Johnny has just had an accident. It's not life-threatening, but he's had an accident and he's being rushed to hospital. And we'd like you to get to hospital straight away because he needs you." And Mrs. Smith says, "I'm on it. I'm going to jump in the car and I'll be right there." Mrs. Smith goes out to her drive, and guess what? There are 2 cars sat on Mrs. Smith's drive. And the first car is a beautiful, gorgeous, luxurious Bentley. It's got the most expensive leather seats. It has really special carpeting on the floor. It has this incredible digital, it's like an aerospace spaceship dashboard. It has all these extras built into it. Tinted roof, special paint job, most posh tires. You can tell I don't know anything about cars, but go with me. You know what I'm talking about, all right? It's special tires, special, special mirrors on it. It has all these gadgets. It's the most expensive Bentley that you can buy. Next to this car is a beat up, rusted, old, ancient Vauxhall Astra. The body is all rusted out. One of the doors is actually missing because it got torn off in an accident years ago. One of the seats has been ripped out. One of the windows is smashed in. So you've got this beat up, rusted up old Vauxhall Astra that you wouldn't be caught dead in. Mrs. Smith, standing on her drive, 2 sets of car keys. Now, which car do you think she'd like to drive to the hospital to see her son Johnny, who's just had an accident? The Bentley, of course, right? But you know what? As well as all those other differences, this posh Bentley versus this rusted out old Astra, the major difference is the Bentley has no petrol and the Vauxhall Astra does. What do you think has more value to her right then and there? The Bentley or the Astra? The Astra, of course, doesn't it? You see, the world is full of educated people. It is full of people who are super brain boxes that sometimes, when I meet some of these brain boxes, I feel like I'm talking to aliens because they talk a different language to me. I'm just not a brain box. They have a whole long list of degrees, which I don't even know what they mean. But you know what? It's not about being smart. It's about what fuel have you got inside of you, and that is your mojo. Your mojo is about you and what you're willing to work for. Because for me, I saw myself as a Vauxhall Astra. I didn't see myself as a Bentley. But having heard that story, I know I've got more fuel than the Bentley sat next to me on the drive. And so how do you keep your mojo fueled? It's your goals. It's what really matters most to you. Because if you're willing to work for a list, is personal and you have a real deep emotional attachment to it, then your motivation will always be there. You see, motivation can't be given to you, but likewise, it can never be taken away from you. And so keeping your mojo fueled is using the tools that we've all been taught to use, and that's having vision boards that are based on our willing to work for list, and they're very detailed, they're very specific, they're very personal. Because when I think about that Vauxhall Astra versus that Bentley, it makes me think, don't sell yourself short. Everything is possible if you are prepared to put the time and effort in. And keeping your mojo fueled is doing the things that most people, or I would say that the unsuccessful people, just choose not to do. They make excuses, they're busy being busy, and they never get around to doing it. And at this time of year, the most important thing that you can do is invest some time to reflect, go through your wins and losses, decide what you're going to leave behind, what you're going to take forward, look at your goals for next year, and be that Vauxhall Astra. Fuel your mojo. You can do more than you ever thought possible. You are capable of doing more than you think you are. But you got to be willing to work for it. Because if the promise is clear, the price becomes easy. And so I'm a huge fan of vision boards and dream books and vision statements. That's what I've been working on this Christmas holiday. I'm not yet finished because I know I still have a bit of soul searching to do to be sure that my emotional connection to my goals for next year is rock solid, because that is putting fuel in me, the Vauxhall Astra. And when I look at vision boards and habits of success, leaders don't just do a vision board and then leave it on the kitchen table or put it in the cupboard and never look at it again. They have these vision boards plastered all over their house. It's a screensaver on all their devices. I sometimes even have a copy of my vision board, a mini one, in my car. It helps me to stay focused and motivated. These vision boards are there to guide you through the storms, because the storms are going to come. The idea of being committed to a goal doesn't mean it's going to be easier, but it will make your commitment stronger, and you will be able to weather the storms because you know why you're doing it. I can't imagine ever achieving anything without a vision board to keep me on track, to guide me and sustain me through the storms. And if I look at the habits of leaders, so number one is you've got to have your vision boards in place and be creative, and nothing is too big. Don't think about what you should do or what's appropriate for you. It's about what you want. Because I know after 16 years and having met tens of thousands of people working with Forever, everything is possible. But you got to go through the process of saying, yes, this is what I'm going to work for, and this is why, and I am good enough. It doesn't matter if I'm a Vauxhall rusted out Astra. I've got fuel in my car and I'm ready to go, because that's going to be worth a gazillion times more than a Bentley that has no petrol in it. So if I look at habits of a leader and things that I encourage you to embrace for next year or to reconnect with next year, is that leaders have an attitude of gratitude. So I'll encourage you to be part of what I've learned it's called the 5:05 a.m. club. Set the alarm 20 minutes earlier every day. Read 20 pages of positive law of attraction information to keep your positive expectation high. Then write 10 things you're grateful for. Start the day off with positive expectation. Take a few minutes to look at your vision boards and feel the feelings of having achieved it. And those 3 exercises, the 20 pages of law of attraction. So I'm not talking skills building or how-to stuff. I'm talking how to keep your mindset in the right place. So 20 pages of law of attraction, your 10 things you're grateful for written down in a journal, and a few minutes looking at your vision board and feeling the feelings of success. That starts your day. And if you start your day like that every day, you'll then be motivated to write your 7-day plan Write your action plans and then overlay your action plans over your diary and plan your time accordingly so that your forever business gets the time that it needs, deserves, and warrants to move you forward. Third thing successful people do, or habits of a leader, is that they hang around like-minded people. You know, sometimes part of your reflection of the last 12 months is who have you been hanging around with? And are they supportive and encouraging you to move forward? Or are they putting seeds of doubt in your mind? And over the years, I have had to distance myself from some people because they were no longer serving me. My willing to work for list was more important. And funny that, you know, when you create space, new, fresh people will come in to fill those spaces who will share your like-mindedness and will support and encourage you to achieve your true potential. They will be happy for your success. Habits of leaders, they've learned to discipline their disappointments. And you have to say, disciplining your disappointments goes hand in hand with your vision boards. It's much easier to overcome no's and things didn't quite go to plan if the promise is clear. I have just as many challenges in my personal life, and I go through just as many no's as everybody else. And do you know what? What keeps me going are my vision boards and the promise of what I'm working towards. I can't afford to waste a week or a month getting over somebody who said no. I can't afford to waste a week or a month getting over somebody who returned their box. I just don't have that time. My goals are too important for me. So disciplining your disappointment, your vision boards will help you to develop that resilience, that laser-like focus, and keep you in motion. In motion means you keep putting one foot in front of the other with purposeful and meaningful action. Habits of leaders, they embrace change and they learn from their mistakes. So we've talked about this already today. They plan 2 positions on the marketing plan at a time. I don't want you to just think about supervisor or assistant manager. I want you to think about the next 2. I want you to think about Eagle and car plan. I want you to think about assistant manager and manager. I want you to think about 4 CCs and networking professional pin. You see, momentum means we keep going. The danger of just working towards one position at a time is you achieve that position and then you stop. Whereas if you're planning 2, you're always in motion, you're always in flow. And it's okay, it's going to get busy. It's what we call commotion. And you're going to cause a commotion. It's going to feel a little bit chaotic and a little bit out of control. That's fantastic, because where there is a commotion, there is always a promotion. So you want commotion and chaos. It moves you forward. And of course, habits of leaders, they attend all the events. For weeks now, I've had all the 2018 success days planned in my diary for next year. They are vital in fueling your mojo. It will add an extra supersonic petrol into your Vauxhall Astra to make you go that extra mile. So be sure you have all the success days put in for next year. Those are my thoughts. Those are my processes that I've gone through now for many, many years. And when I think about 2018 and just how much is possible, what makes me sad is when I think about how many people won't go for it, that they will hang on to the losses instead of leaving them behind and drawing a line in the sand. And it's a shame. It's a shame, because success is not a straight line. Success is premeditated and happens on purpose. And this is part of the process of achieving the things that matter most to you. Because, you know, forever is just the vehicle to helping you achieve your personal goals and dreams. So everything I've talked about is not just about forever, it's about you, your whole life, you as an individual, you and your family and your loved ones. So when I look at 2018, what inspires me is the idea that I don't have to be embarrassed by things that didn't go to plan this year, that I can stand tall and be proud of them and learn from them and be excited about the difference and the changes that I can make and the lives that I can lift next year. And what makes me really excited is that you can have a restart every Monday, every month. Now, let me just clarify what I mean by that. It doesn't mean you stop working on Monday night and you start again the following week. I mean, you can revisit your goals weekly. You can redo your vision boards monthly to reconnect emotionally so you're fueling your mojo all the time. So when I think about next year, a new year, 2018, as being your best year yet, wow, you know, I'm grinning from ear to ear because everything is possible. All you've ever dreamed of, all you've ever set your heart on, doesn't matter where you've come from. Like me, you can be that Vauxhall rusted out Astra and achieve way beyond what you thought was originally possible. Just follow some simple steps, and it's all about making 2018 purposeful and meaningful. And I know in 12 months' time, you have the possibility to look in the mirror and no longer recognize yourself for the personal development that you've had, and also the growth in the business that you've created and the people's lives that you've impacted. So I want to wish you all an amazing 2018, and I look forward to celebrating your best year yet.